Today I want to talk a little bit about dichotomous keys. In the next lesson, we're going to learn how to identify conifer trees based on their needles or their leaves. And we're going to use a pictorial dichotomous key. In our lab manual, we have the conifer dichotomous key. We also have broadleaf dichotomous keys. They're pictorial. The di stands for 2, where we have 2 options, and then another 2 options. At each option, we are eliminating something. So typically dichotomous keys have a very general option and a very specific. Are your leaves opposite? Yes, nannyberry. No, everything else. Okay. Are your leaves toothless and have arcuate vein pattern? Yes, dogwood. No, everything else. And every time we're eliminating an option and moving on. With the pictorial ones, it's really nice because we've got these pictures, but most dichotomous keys don't look like that. Most look more like this, where we have a question: is it with a vulva and very hoop-like remains on the stem base? That's an amanita, which some of you might know is quite a toxic mushroom. If it doesn't have this very specific, then it says without vulva, then we keep going. If it does, it's an amanita, we go to page 16. Okay, so the ones without vulvas, do they have a stem with a ring or a stem without a ring? So 2 and 2, we're having 2 options. If it does have a stem with a ring, now we have a secondary option. Is it Lepiota and Ales, or is it usually in clumps, and then it's Amaryllia malaria? So you've got 2 options again. So maybe it has a ring, then we're going to these keys. If it doesn't have a ring, we're going to move on to the 3rd step. So each step you have 2 options. Di is Greek for 2. Latin bi as in bicycle, but in Greek it's di. This mushroom book has a lot of species that it's trying to deal with, so that key is quite general, going to genuses. We're looking at species. We're quite specific, very specific species, but the same idea counts where we have 2 options and we choose one. We eliminate that one and we move on until we get to the one where we're like, yes, it does only have 1 vein per tooth. And then we're like, okay, so it's an American beech. Awesome. And we don't keep going. Dichotomous keys, a very handy tool to learn how to use. So good luck. I'm going to be using them in the next 2 labs, teaching you how to ID trees.